Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's 7:30 a.m. on the East Coast. We have BTC currently at 78.87. On the 15-minute chart, it looks like a possible head and shoulders, kind of like this. Here's your left shoulder, here's your head, and here's that right shoulder forming. And the neckline is right around, I would probably say 78.50 or so. Now, people always talk about these patterns breaking to the downside, and this is really the start of your next bear leg or whatever, right? Guys, you have to keep things in perspective of what time frame you're looking at, what your target could be of your head and shoulders, and then keep that in context with the other time frames. Remember, higher time frames always trump lower time frames, okay? Now, the way you measure the head and shoulders pattern breaking down, now remember, head and shoulders is a bearish pattern, okay? So you just take the size of the head from the neckline, and if, say, we were about to break from this candle right here, from below the neckline, right, the 4 or so percent break that we had from this neckline down, that would take our target to about $7,500. Okay, so that's about a $270 drop from here. Okay, but that hasn't happened yet. The neckline hasn't broken. Okay, so you have to keep things like that in mind. All right, now obviously I do see that on this big run up that we had to 8,300, we got sharply rejected, created a lower high, and another lower high. Now we're sort of sitting in this descending triangle, if you will, kind of like this. All right, obviously not the most positive pattern right now, but after a big run up like that, I'm not surprised that we're correcting a little bit more before maybe making another leg up. And for all I know, we could go back to retest the lows, but the lows as in 7,100 or not 7,100. I think we dropped all the way to 7,200 or so over the past couple days, like right here. So, right. So, for all I know, we could do that, but that's not what the higher time frames are saying. Okay, so that's a 15-minute chart, right? So let's look up a little bit more. Okay, so here's the 1 hour chart. Now this one also looks a little bit tilted, and you can make the argument that this also looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Okay, now here's something different. Okay, let's go out here. Here's a big pattern that's at play, and this is the larger 4 hour pattern. Okay, you could see that there's a couple touches right here of the high that we had last week around 8,300, another wick, and just yesterday we had another wick right there. You can also make this to be sort of a whoops, I grabbed the wrong one, sort of like a ascending triangle too. Okay, if you grab it like that. All right, so that's another ascending triangle or a symmetrical triangle. Symmetrical triangles are really just 50-50 patterns, so they could break either way. Ascending triangles usually follow the prevailing trend, which obviously has been up. So in this case, I would think that this has a higher likelihood of breaking to the upside. Sell side volume has, from this drop, has been declining. The buy side volume is consistently picking up. So positive signs right there. All right. We bounced off some critical levels down here, caught a decent amount of new fresh demand, and then pushed up pretty easily. Okay, we kind of ripped through this region right here, the 75, 76 region of resistance fairly easily through one big moonshot candle. So this kind of just tells me that really there's not a whole lot of sellers that are going to be of that much impediment to the price moving on up. All right, now another pattern at play is something like this. Where'd my chart go? So here is your other big pattern. Here's a big left shoulder, here's a massive head. Okay, and now you have your right shoulder at play. Okay, So this is a 4-hour pattern. Now, it could very well be true that the 1 hour plays out. Okay, so here's the, little head and shoulders pattern that we were seeing on the 1 hour right here. And if we start zooming out on the 4 hour, we definitely see this big head and shoulders playing out. But the 1 hour could have already played out. And now we're in the creation of that right shoulder. Okay, so it's very possible that both patterns could be at play, but the higher time frame will always trump the lower ones. So that means that even though the 1 hour helps us drop a little bit more, that will then most definitely help create that right shoulder for the 4 hour. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this, guys, is you have to keep in mind to not be so fearful and I guess have your trigger finger ready to buy or sell right away. Keep in mind of certain levels that are at play on different time frames. Okay, that's what's going to make you become a better trader. All right, keeping calm, knowing and understanding exactly where the levels are that you want to buy or sell, not really panicking and looking at every single pattern as the most devastating drop or the most positive pattern that'll take you to 20 or 50K. That's just not how it works. You have to sort of take the market in stride and not let your emotional bias cloud your judgment. Okay, with that being said, we just stated that we had a inverse head and shoulders right here that's at play, right, on the 4 hour chart, a mini head and shoulders pattern right here for the 1 hour chart. Now if we start to measure, right, the depth of the inverse head and shoulders target, so remember how I stated that it's from essentially the bottom of the head. Technically it would be this wick, but I'm going to ignore that wick because this is just really, it stops hitting. So I'll just take, say, this area right here to here. So that's about, I don't know, where is this? 7,000, let's just say, to 8,300. So from 8,300 to another $1,300, okay, that's about 9,600 bucks, right? And remember that I had stated before that 9899 10K targets all the way to 12K is where things are, see right there, I drew that little flag right there. 10K is really just your general figure of psychological number. I bet we could easily get up to 9.7 and 9.8 and close some candles right there, but then probably get rejected when we have a sharp wick that pokes through 10K. Okay, beyond that, there's really just the next significant resistance, which is about 11.7, or say again, 12K. All right, I don't see Bitcoin reaching all the way to like 18 or 20 before it first corrects. Now again, I have no idea if my theory will come true of what I explained to you guys about, remember the Nikkei and the gold markets that I had stated. After a big run up in the Nikkei stock exchange here in the 80s, it's a pretty similar collapse to BTC, right? Here's your 6K level in BTC right here, big capitulation, sharp move up, big capitulation, sweeping these lows right here, right? Same with gold as well, sharp move up. Here's that 6K region holding. Again, these are monthly candles, so very similar to BTC. Capitulation right here, sharp move up, coming back to retest very close to the lows, right? I mean, this is almost this retrace right here is at least a 618% of this entire move right here. And then you spend some months in this trading range right here, and then gold is still trying to sort of reach towards its previous all-time highs, okay? But it's struggling, right? So I'm not saying that BTC will be the same way where it struggles to get to its all-time high, but guys, when we see similar reminiscent charts in history, it would be wise for you to pay attention and see how these previous bubbles have quote unquote popped and rebounded, right? So that's why we look at historical milestone assets like the stock exchange, Nikkei, and gold to give us an idea of where BTC is going. Okay, so with that being said, I still do remain fairly bullish on BTC, and I still believe that the price has the ability to reach 10,000 and maybe even as high as 12,000. Okay, and I stated this in my community. Again, if you're not part of the Cryptosomniac community, do come join, guys. Here are the positions that I talk about. I take, legally I cannot say for you to buy or sell, and I never do. I just tell you that this is what I'm doing. If you want to follow, you can follow, and that's really it. Okay, so here are the positions that are open that I have right now, and we opened these past couple days as prices, were slowly recovering back from that 7,000 region. Okay, so I have a couple of losses right here, and 4 of them that are gainers. Okay, but I still think that we have a few more days, maybe even a week or 2 to go to maybe hit that 10K, 12K range. Okay, but you trade accordingly as it fits your trading style. All right, don't let anyone tell you to buy or sell, or especially don't listen to the crypto Twitter lunatics that are telling you that this is the start of the next bull market, because honestly they don't know, and I sure don't either. Okay, I'm happy to admit that. All right, so now that we sort of pulled back a little bit on the daily, let's check this out right here. Here's our wave count, right? I stated that we have a larger Elliott wave count of 1, 2, 3 up here. 4 is, again, these are not related to when the 4th wave will end in terms of time. It's just a general idea of where the price is going to end. You can see we already hit this area right here, right? And now I think we may be in the start of the 5th wave. Okay, don't worry about the small little movements right here. You have to worry about the larger targets that are at play. Okay, I'll do a more thorough analysis and explanation of Elliott wave later through the week, but all you need to know about Elliott waves is they're very prevalent throughout nature in terms of how the Fibonacci numbers are used, as well as Elliott waves are used in terms of dynamic markets moving up and down, because it's all based off human psychology, right? Every one of these candles, guys, it represents a buyer that had an idea in mind to buy at a certain price, right? And these sort of translate to how human psychology maps out on a chart like this. Okay, that's all this is. Okay, and when you start understanding human psychology and you start understanding Elliott wave counts, the Fibonacci sequence numbers, you start to realize that this is all a big picture of watching and understanding how people operate. Okay, and that's really what I stress upon in our community, which is really just think about where prices are going, what the overall sentiment is in the market, and really just try to think outside the box of, do you really think that people are just going to start selling right away in this particular area just because they see prices dropping a couple $100, especially the whales, right? Those are the real people who truly understand, first of all, where to drive the market and how to really exploit and manipulate human emotion. Okay, those are the people that you really want to learn from. All right, not your average crypto Twitter person. All right, now I've been doing this for a while. I've been trading equities and commodities for a long time, and one thing I'll tell you is a lot of these people in these crypto groups are really just hardcore shills, or they just really don't know what they're doing, and I think it's a sad thing for the space, because I know there's a lot of you who are watching videos like mine or looking for just honest analysis. That's what I hope to do every single day. When I'm wrong, I state that I'm wrong, right? I state that, hey, here are my losses, here are my gainers. It's very simple, guys. All you have to think about trading is keep your losers small and your winners big. in terms of numbers and in terms of gains. Okay, so if we just sort of follow that rule and we wait for proper confirmation, we understand risk management by proper position sizing, understanding where the patterns are going, where the larger time frames are at play, you will be just fine in the market. Okay, that's why you have to come join our community and learn how to trade, learn how to utilize our education section right down here, which has a massive trove of information, and trade properly. Okay, if you truly want to do this as trying to gain side income, or you want to pay off bills for your family, your college debt, or you want to help your son get into a son or daughter get into a great college, this is what you need to understand in your spare time. The money is all here, guys. It's all for your taking. That's all you need to understand. There's no person who is like sitting behind the curtain and he's trying to target you individually all the time. That's just not how it works. Markets will always give you an opportunity to make money. All right, you just have to understand where to do that, why to do that, and with how much to do that. And that's it. And that's what I hope to provide in my community right here. I provide daily Bitcoin analysis with videos as you're watching right now. But with our Advantage program, you get multiple updates like this through the day, and you essentially get a communication channel with me and our other analyst, Jordan, and you can ask questions in Trader Talk. Okay, this is really our most frequently visited and talked channel. And then here is where all our analysis happens. Whether I make short-term trades for myself or medium-term or long-term, I state exactly why I'm getting into a trade, where I'm getting in, where my stop is, where my targets are, and what my reasoning is. All right. So you have all the information at your fingertips. Make the right decision, guys. And as far as I can see, the Bitcoin market is still in a big up move. I don't see anything, scary in this sense. You can see after this, 4K broke right here, we saw a big sort of rising pennant right here and a big moonshot up. Now we're creating an ascending triangle. Also, I would say, probably part of a larger bull pennant. So here's a large picture at play. This is what I mean by looking at the larger time frames and understanding what's at play instead of worrying about the 15-minute charts. Okay, this is really your big pattern at play, a big bull flag. And remember, the bull flags, the targets, are the size of the pull. Okay, so this big bull flag right here, that means from 5,100 all the way to 8,000, which is a $3,000 move. If we were to break out of this pennant right here, $3,000 from say 8,300, where is that? It's about say 11,300 or so. Again, that matches up with our high 10K target and our even higher 11.7, 11.8 target, right? So somewhere in the middle of that region. So you can see how different targets we have at play also coordinate with the larger patterns at play. All right. With that being said, I'm going to check out the few alts that our community is trading right now and the trades that are open in my portfolio. So let's see. So here is Ethereum forming the same bull pennant like Bitcoin. Okay, for Ethereum, that target would become closer to about 450 to 500 if prices do break up to the upside. So that's going to be really interesting for Ethereum too. It has a massive room for growth, in my opinion. Let's check out BCH. BCH is really not printing a bull pennant or anything for that matter. I would say BCH is pretty much all set to get towards say $550, $600 or so, maybe even a little bit higher, probably like 650. So keep those targets in mind. One of our community members actually asked for ICX, so I'm going to check that out. And again, guys, in this channel right here, user requested, this is where you get to ask me of, how I think of XYZ project, whatever you're looking at or you want me to look at, and I will happily take a look and answer it in my videos, or I'll answer it in this channel. So if you're thinking about joining the Cryptosomniac community, other than trading or education, you can also just ask questions like this. You just may not know how to read technicals, and you may need someone like myself who's been doing this for a while to do it for you. Okay, I'll always give you an unbiased opinion because I have nothing at stake, in EOS. I have, nothing to gain out of telling you that, hey, I think this is a good or bad chart. I'm just gonna do it honestly as best as I can. Okay, so let's take a look at ICX first. All right, here's ICX right here. Let's see. Okay, so ICX has essentially broken this critical area right here, which was about 5,600 or so, 550. And not only did it break that, usually, guys, what happens is sometimes patterns break this area, but then they'll sharply reverse, okay, because they catch fresh demand. But what's worse is sometimes patterns actually break this area, they try to break up, but then they catch resistance at this area that was once support, and now it's become resistance. And so this will probably go a little bit further down. And it's of no surprise that alts will go down even a little bit more as the market itself, the crypto alt market, is sort of taking a beating, because as BTC moves up, the rest of the alts will lose value in terms of Satoshis, because now you have the US dollar value with BTC going up, but people are probably more than inclined to sell out of their alt and go into BTC because it's riding up. Okay. All right, what's the other chart? And so for the most part, I would say about this is, prices are sort of trying to recover, but it's going to be really tough to get over this 550 area right here. If it were me, I'd probably wait above, say, 600 to get into ICX. You do already see this, Stochh RSI topped off. The RSI itself is not even in the bullish phase, say above 50, above 55. So this actually may have more downside ahead. Okay, so do keep that in mind. Our other chart that we need to look at is EOS. I'll take a look at EOS and then Link. Okay, so here is Link. Whoops. Okay, Link is on the daily chart. Link looks like it's going to, it wants to really break out of this region right here, which is about 13K. But I know Link has been on a tear since, let's see, where was it? So since this bottoming right here in mid-July right here, Link has really just been on a tear. I'd probably say I'm a little bit more confident in Link, because even through the bear market, Link had actually had a fair amount of gains in terms of Satoshi gains. So very positive sign on Link. I'd probably say that if we were to do a bit of an extension over here, say we'll just do the candle closings. I'm gonna close this out. And what we'll do is we'll turn on 2.618, this. 1.618 was probably going to reach for Link about 17,000. So from here to here, that's about a good 30-40% gain, I would say. Actually, prices are over here. So I do like Link, so about 33% gain from here, and beyond that, a big high target would be this 23K marker, about a 70% gain. So I'm fairly positive that Link can actually keep ticking up higher. Okay, so do keep an eye on Link. And Link USDT, I mean, Link USDT is definitely going to be gaining value because, obviously Link has not only been going up in terms of Satoshis that I just showed you, but it's also been going up in terms of the dollar value because BTC is going up in dollar value. Okay, so very positive sign on Link. All right, let's check out EOS. Here's EOS actually. I had done this chart up a little while ago, and it stated that this is really the area that I want to look to buying. Why? Because this was previous resistance right here. Way over here, it was previous support. So now that we finally broke through it, I knew for sure that if this level is retested as support, prices are going to move up higher. So I personally think that any pullback that you see on EOS is a buy. Again, not an investment advice. I'm just stating that in terms of technicals, that's what I would be doing in this case. Unfortunately, EOS hasn't been on my radar, but now it is. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. And even over here, around the 5.9, 5.8 level, this area right here, previously resistance, now it's turned into support, and now prices will keep on moving higher. Probably say EOS has a good chance of hitting $10 if BTC and Ethereum and all these alts are going to move up as stated towards that 10K to 12K region. Okay, it's a really positive sign on EOS. Very positive and fairly bullish still on the BTC prices. So do keep an eye on my analysis, guys. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Come find us, cryptosomniac.com. Hit the products page and then join Advantage. Tons of information, tons of analysis, and I hope this video helps. Have a wonderful week ahead. All right, guys. Cheers.